You're listening to 101.9 WATG FM Waiting at the Tone Radio, the nation's largest news and talk radio station, where we never tone it down. Today might be Thursday, October 23rd, but it's still Wednesday in the radio world. I'm your host, Campbell Diamond, and we are live with The Spooky Segment, a late-night adventure into the realm of all things that tingle your spines. You're sure to have a hauntingly good time. I'm here with a new monster of the week. Oh, darling, I'm only joking you. A very warm welcome to my very lukewarm friend, Emmet Foster. Speak closer to the microphone, darling. It won't bite.
All right, hi.
No, too close. Back it up a bit.
Sorry. You're good?
Perfect. Tell the world a little about yourself.
I don't have to do a stupid voice, do I? Right, okay. I'm Emmet Foster. I grew up in Dalston Hills, and I'm a parapsychologist. Kinda. I mean, I don't really work a lot in parapsychology currently, but I have an email, and I get my jobs from there, but right now I just work at Jimmy's Bolts, the hardware on 5th.
Oh, don't look so glum. Pretty much all my guests have some sort of day job, but you're here for a night job. So, what sort of jobs in the night do you typically take?
Well, most of what I do is investigations. People will message me because something's not right, and then I'll go in, but most are just old ladies who are convinced that their houses are haunted when they really just need to get their pipes fixed or their medications adjusted. But that's not really what you want to hear.
Right you are, old sport. We want to hear a juicy story. Surely after so many emails, you must have found something that was unexplainable?
Right, yeah. So, as I said, most messages are BS. Can I say that on air?
Oh, don't you worry about a thing. The government has bigger things to worry about than a devastatingly gorgeous 2 a.m. radio host. Or you. As long as my lovely audience doesn't blab to the FCC.
Nice. So, anyway, most of what I get called in for is bullshit. Complete bullshit, really. I try my best to be skeptical. I mean, I consider myself a skeptic of sorts, actually. Did you know that most people in the field are skeptics themselves? That's because of the way hypotheses work. It's really quite interesting. You can't have a hypothesis that's based on anything supernatural because they need to have the ability to be disproven, and you can't disprove...
Whoa now, we're here to talk about something ominous, not a hypothesis. Why don't you tell the good people in the audience what you did see?
Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to get so off topic, but yeah, I do get my fair share of unexplained occurrences. Sometimes I go on what I like to call field work, just feels more sciencey that way, which results in some interesting experiences.
Oh, come on, spit it out.
So I spend a lot of time in the woods.
In the woods?
I'm in the woods. How much do you know about the woods in Dalston?
Our time in life may have overlapped some, but the good people listening know absolutely nothing. Unless you're tuning in from Dalston Hills, of course.
Oh, perfect. So, would you like a little backstory then?
Get it? Because it's like, would you like, but it's what? Like from a tree.
Yeah, like would, but sorry, I was trying to be funny.
You're a natural host, darling. You'll have your own show before you know it.
Thank you. I try. So anyway, the Dalston woods are kind of fucked.
Maybe not.
But yeah, Dalston isn't really a great area. There's like a disproportionate amount of paranormal sightings and activity and such all throughout town, really, but the woods are a nightmare.
You'd think it would be a great place for some spooky tourism,
Yeah, no. I mean, on paper, its tiny-ass town uses its only trait to get anyone to show up, but people typically like that fake horror shtick. So, like, one creepy old falling apart building, it's not really the whole town full of them. Too real even for tourists.
Looks like it's a town full of fixer-uppers. Maybe you'll find your next property there.
I've always lived... Oh, right, people were alive. My bad.
Now, where were you when you saw something unexplainable?
Well, that depends. What story do you want?
The type of story that'll make my boss think it's worth it to keep me on the slot.
All right. Your audience isn't a bunch of snitches, right?
I sure hope not.
Okay. All right, so I've been exploring some of the more closed down older buildings on the outskirts of town close to the woods.
Oh, my audience loves a bad boy, don't you, everyone?
I mean, it's not breaking and entering if there's no door.
I think it's at least still entering.
Entering isn't a crime. Who gets arrested for committing an E?
I believe the word you're looking for begins with a T. Trespassing, darling.
Hey, if the town wanted people to stop trespassing on private property, they'd have had the State Department tear everything down ages ago. If it makes you feel better, I only go to places that have clearly already been entered. The buildings feel a hell of a lot more like you don't belong there if they're not covered in graffiti.
Still, that is quite a dangerous activity. Don't try this at home, everyone. Unless you're a firefighter, plumber, or piano tuner.
I stay safe.
Do you carry a shining silver ghost sword, perhaps?
No, I just carry.
Oh, come on. Silver bullets, at least.
I am far more afraid of running into people in the middle of the woods at night, but I'll be sure to pick them up next time I'm at Jimmy's just for you.
Wonderful. You'll get the employee discount. You don't happen
You
to
told me to come to a random-ass studio in the middle of the city at 2 in the morning.
Emmet!
Your security detail was asleep at his desk. You had to buzz me into the building. I feel like I'm going to get shivved walking back to my car.
I assure you, WATTFM is a perfectly safe facility.
The garage access across the street isn't. You could so easily break into this place.
I guess you're our resident entering expert. But enough about this highly sophisticated studio.
Yeah, I'm sure your boss will love listening to this in the morning.
Maybe we should get on with the story.
Right, sorry, yeah.
And now, the moment all of you tuning in have been waiting for, a proper paranormal encounter.
Well, I've got something you might like. Might be a little different than what you're hoping for, but scary nonetheless. So, I was exploring this house. I said earlier I have a tendency to maybe have some less than legal business practices when it comes to abandoned houses, but this wasn't that. I mean, the house was more or less abandoned and in a not so great put together part of town, but I was contracted to go there. I'll leave the contractor's name out of this, but essentially this guy messaged me a week or so ago asking me to look at a house. He said it had been his family for ages, his brother-in-law had moved out 20 years ago, though he was really vague and wouldn't tell me why, and they kept the house but never sold it.
In-laws, am I right?
Ugh, yeah. I'm honestly not sure if I believed him, but I mean, when we met up, he gave me a key, and it worked, so I didn't have to worry about actually breaking into this house. It was nice, like, really nice, all considered.
You didn't have to break in? Well, color me impressed.
Hey, sometimes good things happen to me. I took precautions still, but considering what I normally look at for fun, or get dragged out to, it wasn't bad. No power, though, or heat. And when I got there, everything felt so normal. It was offset quite away from the main road, and the private driveway was overgrown to shit, so it was a bit of a hike, maybe half a mile or so, which I've managed worse, so it wasn't bad. I was honestly surprised to see the state it was in when I got there, though. I'd have thought it was worse. The house was white, but in the bleached, sitting away in the sun with no one taking care of it kind of way. It felt kind of sad, to be honest. It was a small little cottage. It could have been really nice if they kept it up. 2 floors and a basement is what the guide told me. You would think that maybe you could be lived there if you didn't look too hard at the collapsing roof.
Well, now, that's no trouble at all. Nothing wrong with carrying an umbrella in your own house.
I went to the front door, which is usually a no for me, but I mean, the key worked on the big padlock. I was half expecting it not to. There was quite a bit of rust. I had to chip it away, but then the door creaked open, and that was that. The inside, it was clearly an abandoned house.
My, are you sure you aren't a detective, darling?
One could hope.
Oh, come on. You don't want to wear a silly flat hat and carry an oversized magnifying glass?
Well, if I'm Sherlock, who does it make you? My sidekick?
Well, Watson was always the handsome one.
You did not just say that. In the original, isn't he, like, short with a mustache?
Well, now that's a familiar description.
I'm not short, and...
On second thought, maybe you're more of a Scooby-Doo type.
You did not... We're talking about this later. Anyway, there was furniture strewn about. Dust covered everything. Abandoned houses have this familiar smell to them, which you can chalk up to what's probably mold, but it smelled almost sort of homey. I did my initial perimeter. I went through all of the rooms to make sure there wasn't anything I needed to be aware of. Black mold, loose floorboards, people.
With your comically large magnifying glass?
Oh my...
No, sorry. Was the mystery machine there?
Oh my god. The basement had some water in it. Stagnant water is always super fun in abandoned buildings, but it was made of concrete, and it didn't cover the whole thing, so I mean, all things considered, I'd say everything was good with the house. Well, except for the upstairs bathroom. That's where part of the roof had gone. So I decided it was safest to avoid that side of the house altogether. Outside was clear, except for being extremely overgrown, so it was time to start my investigation. I started in the living room, then worked my way up before going down. I took out all my gear, spirit box, EMF, EVP, you name it. I didn't get much though. A slight spike in the EMF here and there. I mean, that's not nothing, don't get me wrong, but I was disappointed. It's not often I get accepted into places like this, and it was kind of blowing its shot at being anything other than old and falling apart. At one point I felt a draft, but I mean, I'm not stupid, that was definitely the wind. I mean, the roof is gone. The man, when I had asked him to describe what happened in the house, paranormal-wise, he told me all the generic signs, started describing what sounded like a poltergeist, but I didn't see any of that. Not even a shadow figure until...
Until you opened up the cupboard and out flew a haunted cereal box.
I stayed the night. He told me to, quote, make sure I was thorough and not waste his time, end quote. He was a bit of a dickhead about it, too. I had made sure he paid me up front, based on the way he was talking, but fuck him.
Oh, thank you.
I said I'd do it. I'd be thorough. I camped up for the night in the living room. It was cold, and as ready as I was to stay there all night, I very rarely sleep when I go on trips like this. So I sat with my gear and waited. It was about 1:30 in the morning. I think 1:34, so I'd set up about 2 hours ago when I heard it. I could have sworn it sounded like something was moving in the basement. I couldn't, and I can't for the life of me figure out what it could have been. So I just chalked it up to my mind playing a trick on me. Definitely dreading not really sleeping the night before, but what can you do? Insomnia's like that. But then it happened again. Louder. It was a slight different sound, more like scraping metal on concrete, which I was afraid it might be a person or an animal, so I knew at the moment I'd have to get up. But I grabbed my EMF detector and my flashlight and headed to the basement door.
Darling, really? The basement?
It's not a damn movie. I didn't choose the basement, okay? Do you want to know what happened?
I think we all do.
When I opened the basement door and shined my light down, everything looked the same. Just still. But as I started to walk down those stairs, everything felt off. They were too long. It was as if I couldn't reach the bottom of them. It felt like I was going down the stairs for at least 5 minutes, and when I got to the bottom, the room was so big. I had done my initial check earlier. It shouldn't have looked like that. There were the stairs and the wall it was up against. It wasn't like it was empty. Everything was still there. Tattered boxes, broken picture frames, the paint cans. But the walls, they stretched out too far for the room itself. It was so vast, like it was being pulled into by something. And I kept walking. It made me feel so small. Not physically, of course, but just... I don't know how to describe it. It was like I could take 10 steps and be in the same place, but I knew I had been walking. I was just trying to get to anything. I didn't know how long I had been walking when I reached what I think used to be the hot water heater. The metal frame was almost completely rusted through, and the pipes... I wanted to reach out and touch it to see if it was real, but something stopped me. The gravity of just how wrong everything was. There were pipes that stretched out into the darkness, and I couldn't tell where they ended. I looked up and I followed them, and I couldn't... It just kept going up, and That's when I noticed the eyes. I don't know how far in front of me they were. It could have been 5 feet away or 50. All I know is that 1 second I was looking at the ceiling, and the next they just appeared. They were white, all white, glowing almost. I pointed my flashlight at it, but there wasn't a body. It was all just the same pitch black. I don't know why I started walking towards it, but I did. It was as if it was calling out, trying to get me to go to it. I vaguely remember my EMF going fucking crazy in my hand, all the way to red, but I kept walking until something snapped me out of it. I'm not sure what, even now, but I think it might have been the feeling of water on my waist. The basement was flooded. It didn't make sense. It couldn't happen. It wasn't raining. It couldn't have flooded. I'd been down there earlier, and I know there wasn't that much water. There wasn't, but there was. It was like I was being pulled into it. I was being pulled into it. I ran once I realized what was happening, or I tried to go back to the stairs and get the hell out of there, but the room was... I don't think I could have made it there even if the water wasn't trying to force me under it. The door was... and the water, it was like it could grab you, like a vacuum, and the more I moved, the quicker it pulled me under. I tried to yell out, but from my shoulders to my neck, it pulled me under, and that thing was just staring at me from somewhere in the too long room, and I could feel the tears in my eyes as my chest began to burn. My head ached as thick, disgusting water filled my mouth, the fluid encasing my lungs, and I won't forget that feeling. I thought I was going to die in that basement as everything went black. I was drowning. And then I opened my eyes. My head was throbbing, but I was back upstairs. It was as if all of that had been a dream. The time still read 1:34. The only difference was I was soaked. My coat, my gear, everything. It was as if I had gone swimming. I didn't even register how much pain I was in except my head. I gathered what I could and ran out of there. Didn't even lock it. I just sprinted down that godforsaken path to my car. I kept hearing things, but I didn't look. I didn't look back. It took me half the drive to my place to realize that my nose had been gushing blood and I couldn't get enough air in my lungs. I tried to rationalize it, but I mean, how could I? Even if it was a dream, which it wasn't. I mean, it means something. It has to mean something, but you don't get soaking wet like that in someone's living room, and it wasn't even raining out, and I don't remember falling asleep that night. I remember waking up after that feeling of drowning, after slipping under the water, looking at that thing. I woke up from that exactly the position I was in before, but I don't remember falling asleep. I know it. I gave the guy his key back 3 days ago. When he saw me, he asked if I had seen anything paranormal, and I mean, I didn't know what to say. People like to be told that you found a ghost, not... I told him no. That the EMF spiked slightly, and that was it. When I held the key out to him, he grabbed me by the forearm and called me a liar. He looked so angry with me, like I was in the wrong somehow. I tried to pull away, but he wouldn't let me go. He told me he knew I'd seen something, and when I told him to fuck off again, he finally let go and snatched the key from my hand and turned to leave. I knew he knew, and tried to stop him. I haven't really been sleeping much since. That's why I was awake when you called me the other day. I can still see it so clearly in my head, you know? Those eyes piercing into me as I wade underwater. I can't make my head quiet. I can't make my head quiet.
That was...
Absolutely fantastic, darling. I knew you were good at scary stories, but you really knocked this one out of the park.
Yeah, I tried.
Oh, don't be so modest. The setup, the eyes in the dark, the ominous parting words. The basement may have been a little cliché, but I'll let it slide. This story will certainly make the audience need a change of underwear after this. Just one question. Why didn't you tell the client about your, basement swim?
What do you mean? It didn't feel right telling him. I mean, the look on his face, I don't know, it wasn't important.
Wowie, you'll tell an entire audience full of 2 a.m. radio listeners, but not that one guy?
I trust them.
Well, everyone, let's give a big thank you to Emmet Foster. Thank you very much for tuning into the Spooky segment. Tune in weekdays at 2 a.m. only at 101.9 WATT-FM. And we're off. That was really great. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine now. I think I'll be fine. I'm gonna go head home now, if that's okay.
Yeah, you should get some sleep.
Yeah, I'll try. You too. Show vs. Tell is a podcast produced and created by Secret Third Thing Studios.
Episode 1 pilot, Hell and High Water, is written by Cecilia Campbell and Mac.
Audio recorded and edited by Cecilia Campbell. Emmet Foster is voiced by Mac. Campbell Diamond is voiced by Cecilia Campbell. Thank you for listening.